Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dylan, and I'm back again with my weekly comic book pickups video. Now, if you're new to my channel, this is basically my weekly pickups that I snagged from my comic shop this past Wednesday for New Comic Book Day. And I usually always try and start off with my pick of the week, and I always try and pick a title that, kind of caught me by surprise. Because it was a hard one. This week there was a lot of good titles. But my pick of the week is Fallen Angels, issue 1, written by Brian Hill. I had no plans of picking this up or anything, period. So this one caught me by surprise. I've been picking up all these first issues. Probably will continue picking up most of the second issues as long as, the stories keep being good. But I really enjoyed this. This one caught me by surprise. Brian Hill, as always, doing some fantastic work. I highly recommend him. If you never read any of his work, American Carnage on DC Vertigo, that one's one of the best indie Vertigo titles that came out this past year. But yeah, I highly recommend this. If you're any type of Psylocke, X-23 fan, I think you'll definitely love this. It's definitely more in the point of view of Psylocke, but not the the Conan version of her. But also, man, Young Cable, man, there was a lot of jokes being kind of going back and forth with him and X-23, which was actually funny. This was the first issue in a while where I really, besides the Hickman, but the Hickman Young Cable stuff was okay, because Hickman has had him appear in some of his issues. But yeah, in this issue and the XMen, Cable's kind of funny. He's cracking some jokes here and there, which was at the I started liking him because it seems more like what a young Cable would do. He still has that little bit of childish in him. But yeah, that's for Fallen Angels. I highly recommend it if you were on the fence about that one. Now, this one was actually a surprise to me. I completely forgot we were getting two X-Men titles, but X-Men issue 2. I said in my review that I put up at midnight, I don't know if you would really like this issue if you didn't enjoy the first issue. I mean, that could be completely wrong. This issue is definitely better, a lot better, than the first, but still, I just feel like anybody that was hating on that issue, they're not giving two shits about this. But yeah, this had a lot of cool things happen in it. This one kind of dealt with the island a little bit more, and the Summers family as usual. But this one's just Cyclops, Prestige, and Young Cable. So that one was interesting though. I really enjoyed that, but I actually enjoyed the first issue, and everything with X-Force. Well, we could talk about X-Force, because with Xavier dying, that actually kind of leads into Fallen Angels, and they don't really talk about it much in X-Men issue 2, but definitely what's going on in Fallen Angels. They definitely are. You can tell that without Professor X, the Krakoa is in a bit of a shock, with Magneto having to take over and everything. But next we got Morbius, the Living Vampire, issue 1. Got a lot of issue 1s out this week. Weirdly, no indie titles. I should have picked up Family Trees or something. But the art was fantastic. The writing, I thought, was pretty good. I've never read anything Morbius. I've actually never gotten into Morbius, period. The only thing I know about Morbius is that there's going to be a Jared Leto movie, supposedly. So I figured that's why they're putting this out. So I'm like, well, might as well try to catch up on it. Plus, I'm a big horror fan as is, so this usually could do no wrong. And it was a bit slow. It just seems like they're kind of using some of those same gimmicks for any Morbius story, but it definitely was really, really cool. I mean, just because, he's a vampire by scientific method or something, by scientific accident. And basically he's just trying to, figure out the cure. But it looks like that might not go as he expects. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. Most definitely, that one was fun. But Punisher Soviet issue 1, I did not even have this on my poll. I had it put on last minute. I was really excited to do that, but I wasn't sure because I read Punisher, so I was like, maybe he'll put it in my stack anyways. But this was really good. I remember loving like the first 2 issues of the Garth Ennis Punisher run. That's all I probably read was the first 2 issues. But man, this was definitely just right up that alley. It has like that complete like Punisher having problems with the mob and needing to take them out, but it looks like this has that Russian aspect, as you guys would probably figure out with the Soviet. It looks like Russia has kind of come into play in New York, and they've been taking over some Italian territories, Irish territories, and these Russians, they're willing to do jobs that not everybody is. They're willing to get like down and dirty for real. But if you're any type of Punisher fan, that's that Max comic, so that's like that's where DC Black Label's coming from, probably from that Max series, because this is like the only Marvel like R-rated comic you're gonna get, so I highly recommend it if you're any type of Punisher fan. Next, we got Invaders issue 11. It looks like issue 12 is going to be wrapping up the Invader series. I could be wrong. It could just be the story arc, but I believe that Invaders is probably going to be done after 12. In a way, I'm a bit happy, but it was really good. This series has been really good. The last couple issues, though, really fell short for me, like the last 2, maybe 3. But this one definitely was a step up. I actually had a feeling I was going to like this one a lot better because it was, dealing with Cap and Namor stranded on an island together. And I just figured they would get more of that one-on-one time and be able to talk about some of their history, and because they have a past together being in the war. And I really enjoyed this one. This one got me back into the like original reason why I was really digging this Invader story. But yeah, I'm just not the biggest Namor fan is all. So that's really like what sold me on this is I'm the biggest Captain America fan. So I see Captain America, Winter Soldier, but Namor isn't what sold me on this. I still like him, it's just I'm not the biggest fan. So, you know what I mean? But I really enjoyed this, and I'm excited to see it wrap up in issue 12. Even if it does continue after that, I might just kind of wrap up on 12 myself. But I think it is, because it says this is the end for issue 12. Next we got Guardians of the Galaxy, issue 11. Oh my god, man. We've been getting is this Death of Rocket tease and like two covers the last couple weeks, or the last 2 issues. They were like Death of Rocket covers, and man, it would be big spoilers, but anybody that knows Donny Cates, I mean, nothing has happened yet, most definitely, but if you know Donny Cates as a writer, and you know him with animals, when you heard the solicits for the Death of Rocket, you knew, you were like, this son of a bitch better not kill Rocket. But we've been getting that tease these last couple issues. Is Rocket gonna die? I mean, he's basically been in this like mecha suit, and it's the only thing that's keeping him alive at this point. So I'm interested to see where issue 12 goes. I know that's what's wrapping up the whole Donny Cates, cosmic, Guardians of the Galaxy series, and Al Ewing is going to be taking over and starting off with a #1 Guardians of the Galaxy issue with the new year. So I'm excited to see where this ends. I actually thought that it took a kind of crazy twist, and man, just Peter, or Star-Lord's dad in this, is just creepy crazy, man. I enjoyed it though. This one, like I said with Invaders, the last couple issues were falling a bit short on this one for me, but the last issue, issue 10, I do remember really enjoying. It was like 9 and 8 that like were like, oh, they were kind of slow, and I didn't really care for them. But it is a bummer that Donny Cates is ending this, because I felt like he was really just finding his voice with a lot of these characters. Next, we got Savage Sword of Conan, issue 11. That's a couple of issue 11s this week. But this was a fun story. This leaves off right where issue 10 left off. But there, Conan, it starts off with Conan, because he was captured, and basically Conan, rips this tree like in half while he's tied up to, and then beats the shit out of these guys with the like 2 logs, like while he's like still kind of tied up, which was just so funny. You see these bats on the cover, and that ain't no tease. Like, sometimes Marvel just throws a cover on there, and then like the last page, though, you'll see some bats. There's actually some crazy demon bats in this, and it was actually really cool and creepy. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel got some fucking some like copyright issues for this shit, because dude, I was getting the biggest Dark Crystal vibes out of this. I mean, they probably won't, because but they literally use like the Dark Crystal, and like it's missing a shard, and attach the shard back so that it will be completed. I mean, if you're a Dark Crystal fan like I am, dude, it was like Conan mashed with Dark Crystal combined, and I was like, holy crap. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And this issue actually ends the story arc. It looks like they've really only been doing like 2-issue story arcs and stuff. So issue 12, I don't know if Roy Thomas is going to continue to keep writing, or if somebody else is picking it up, but it does appear to seem like a new story arc is on the on the upfront for issue 12. But yeah, highly recommend that one as always. I'm a huge Conan fan. As that being said, Age of Conan Valeria, issue 4 out of 5, only one more. Probably might be done with these tie-ins after, or like these Age of Conan ones after, but I still enjoyed this, and these covers are really cool, the art is cool, the character is cool, and it's a character that's avenging the death of her brother, so how can you not get behind that? And she's a badass chick too, so if you're any type of Conan fan and you just want to get more into the mythos of the Conan world, this is where you start, and I highly recommend it. I've really enjoyed it. I think Meredith Finch, she did like one issue on Savage Sword of Conan. Might have been one of my favorite Savage Sword of Conan issues as well. It's okay, Bubba. And next we got the Tomb of Dracula, issue 10, the facsimile reprint cover. As you know, if anybody knows, this is Blade's first appearance, and I'm a huge Blade fan, so this was a must-have, even though this isn't the Blade that I grew up with, the Wesley Snipes Blade. But this is where it all started with the character Blade, so this was just a must-have for me. So I still got to read that. I had a lot of books I was reading, but yeah. And next we got these next 2 books. One of them was late, but I did not get to read these yet. Fantastic Four Grand Design, and I am just behind on this series, period. I only read the first issue, but the History of the Marvel Universe, I like these, little history issues, to kind of, because Marvel is so dense with its history. I like that they can kind of pack a little bit of this in there. Next, we got Dollar Comics Blackest Night. For a buck, man, this is a big issue too. Had to add this to the collection for a buck. Always got to pick up those Dollar Comics. Next, this was actually a close contender for my pick of the week. DC Black Labels, Joe Hill, Hill House Comics, the second book to come out of his label, the Dollhouse Family, issue 1. And this was not written by Joe Hill. It was written by M.R. Carey. He writes the bonus story in the back, Sea Dogs. But this one, I still did not like it better than Basketful of Heads. I really, really enjoyed that one. And I don't see why I felt like some people didn't enjoy that one as much. But because they were like, oh, it's really just setup. but yeah, it's setting up for some big things. But this one was a lot different. It kind of goes back and forth between like this little girl who's just received this dollhouse in like 1980, and then it goes back to like her great great uncle or great great grandfather back in like 1826, and he's the one who had the dollhouse built and made for his son. So there's definitely going to be some like dynamic twist between that great uncle and what he discovered in the cave and why maybe he had this dollhouse built. So I'm interested really in all of these Hill House Comics books, but Basket Full of Heads and Dollhouse Family were definitely like the two that I was most anticipated for. And then probably it's really hard to say because I'm just anticipated for all of those. Period. Event Leviathan issue 6. Man, finally this is over. Finally we get the reveal of Leviathan. They say it on the cover. Finally, you know what I'm saying? The man behind the mask is revealed. These 6 issues were the biggest waste ever. I never will dog on a comic book or anything. I'll try to always, find the best in it and not just put it down because, somebody did put hard work into that book and they spent a lot of time to, bring this together. But man, besides the artwork in this, the artwork by Alex Maleev is fantastic. No doubt about that. I will never take credit from that man. But Bendis, dude, you just wrote the dumbest story ever, and you just made people waste money on 6 issues, in my opinion. And this story doesn't even wrap up. You know what I'm saying? This story is left open to continue in Action Comics. So what was the point of this? You could have done 1 issue maybe and revealed the shit with Leviathan. We needed 6 issues of dialogue and detectives standing around talking. The detectives on it, like Plastic Man and shit. Some of them, yeah, they're detectives for sure, the greatest detectives. But then there's a couple in the group, and you're like, that ain't no detective. This one, Bendis, man, he's just wearing so thin on me, and I know he's wearing thin on a lot of other people as well. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy. Naomi was fire. Young Justice is pretty good, but that wears thin on me at times as well. Action Comics is good. I dropped Superman. He's really dropping the ball, man, and I almost want to stop picking up his stuff completely so that DC will just take him off all this stuff and give him something different, man, because it's just not working. It's just not working. It's too much dialogue. It's too many pointless issues that mean nothing. So that's just my opinion. I just did not like how this wrapped up at all. I knew they weren't going to reveal the identity until issue 6, and the identity, fast forward maybe 10 seconds if you really don't want to know, but it's nobody. It's nobody you even fucking know. So it's pointless. It was just stupid, in my opinion. Sorry if that gets people mad. I never like to rant that badly about a book, but this one, it really hit some nerves, and I didn't like it. It was really, I would never say, it's hard for me to say I wasted money on a comic book, but those 6 issues, complete waste of money. Complete waste of money. Unless you're an Alex Maleev fan and you just are buying it for his artwork, I completely understand. Otherwise, no go. Next we got Detective Comics, You're the Villain, Mr. and Mrs. Freeze, issue 1015. Another one of these acetate covers. This one was kind of cool. This acetate wasn't my favorite. But this issue was pretty cool. It definitely takes a turn you kind of don't expect. I've been loving the Batman Detective Comics series ever since Peter J. Tomasi has picked up the run, and I really have been enjoying this Mr. Freeze arc. I am definitely, this definitely takes a turn you don't expect, and it's not the Mr. Freeze story you think you're going to be getting, but it took a turn for, the better, and it's something new, and it's something different, and I like it, and I'm interested definitely to see where Tomasi takes this in the future, because he's been doing a real bang-up job. Speaking of another writer doing a real bang-up job, and for 82 issues, let alone, he's been doing a consistently great job on this title, and that would be The Flash, Another Year the Villain, Captain Cold and the Rogues. Now, finally, we get Captain Cold and his Rogues in this issue, and they were actually really cool. The city is, taken over at this point, and Captain Cold is King Cold, and him and his rogues run, Central City, isn't it? Yeah, that's what is it? Yeah, Central City. This one was a pretty cool cover though. This one, watch out though, with these acetate, maybe it was just mine, but they actually it looks like they cut mine. I don't know, maybe it might have just cracked. It might have, folded over or something and creased and then just came off. But yeah, be careful, because if that is the case, if it gets folded over, it's gonna kind of chip off. But this the Flash series, Joshua Williamson has been doing a really good job, and I highly recommend this series. If you're any type of Flash fan, this is the Flash book I think you should be reading, because 82 issues, and the man barely has an issue that's on the downside. Always, it's either you're oh, that was an okay issue, or you're man, that was a fantastic issue. Never once have I picked up one of these issues and I was man, that was just the crappiest issue ever, because he's been doing nothing but good stuff in my opinion. But hey guys, that's actually the last book here. Let me know if you guys picked up anything at your local comic book shop this morning, and let me know what you thought about it. If you guys hit that like button on your way out, hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.